Looks like we're ready now, Heidi.
Yes, we are live and ready, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, if everyone's ready, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Seldovia City Council, virtual as well as real person attendance for Monday, January 11th, 2021, 6 p.m. Roll call. Morrison?
Here.
Rojas?
Here.
Nathan?
Here.
Sweat?
Here.
Okay. Kohlberg and Payton will both be absent this evening. So that'll obviously be an item C, but they are absent, but we do have 4 in attendance, so we do have a quorum. If everyone will go ahead and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United
States of America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, excuse absences. We do have Kohlberg and Payton, both absent tonight. Item D, agenda approval. We'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda as written. Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and we have a second. All those in favor, Morrison,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat.
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda is approved. Item E, tonight's consent agenda. We're actually not going to have one tonight. The minutes that are shown under item 1 did not make it into the packet. They were not complete. So those will be added to our next meeting for the next consent agenda. So no item E for this evening. Item F, mayoral proclamations, none. Item G, public presentation, prior notice. I don't see anybody signed up, but Heidi, just to confirm, no one for public presentation tonight? Prior notice?
Not for prior notice, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Item H, public presentation for items not on the agenda. Do we have anyone from the public?
I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Item I, committee and advisory board reports. Looks like none, which will bring us to item J, our first order of business for tonight. And that will be resolution 21-20, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Seldovia urging the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, Division of Sport Fish to continue Seldovia's Chinook salmon smolt enhancement program after 2021. And I'll go ahead and let staff give us an update.
Thank you, Mayor. Have you had a chance to look at the supplemental resolution that was included as a laydown item?
No, I have not. I did
Okay,
not.
so, and by supplemental, I mean substitute because it includes amendments from one of the sponsors, Councilmember Rojas. So if she wouldn't mind giving an introduction to the resolution, that would be great.
Yeah, I've got Jeremiah on the laydown. We've got additional information, and it's in the underlined that was brought to my attention, and also something I really think that we need to have in there, and that is the partnership Seldovia, City of Seldovia has towards the resolution. To me, it fits everything that we are trying to accomplish. It's informative for the Fish and Game to receive. It's got the willingness of the City of Seldovia and grassroots folks in the community to sponsor and help support this. So I think it includes everything that I think we want to have sent to Fish and Game. I'm pleased with it, and I thank the staff for the help and support.
Okay, did you have any other comments, Rachel, from your end, or?
No, it would just be for the substitute resolution to come before the body for consideration. And then once the body, or if the body adopts the resolution as is, we can send a follow-up email to the state on behalf of Seldovia City Council, getting specific examples of how the city of Seldovia and other organizations could help the state ensure that this program stays in Seldovia.
Okay. Question, matter of formality here, since we had the resolution 21-20, can we just at this time make note that it will be voting on the substitute language, on the substitute resolution that's included in the laydown rather than the one on the main packet? I'm assuming that'd be the appropriate way to go here, rather than having to do an amendment.
Yes, I would say that's the case, but our city clerk could confirm if that would be appropriate.
Yes, as long as there's a consensus of the city council to approve the resolution in its substitute form, then that should not be a problem.
Okay, is there any objection from any member to be discussing and voting on the substitute resolution found in the laydown rather than the resolution that was submitted in the regular packet? Okay, it looks like hearing no objection. So at this time, moving forward, then it'll be the substitute resolution with the found in the laydown with the additional language that is shown in the underline. So with that, we'll go ahead and open it up to council discussion.
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm definitely in support of this, and I've been trying to kind of wrap my brain around it a little bit more so that I understand it, and the whole thing in general, and I kind of sort of do. But I have a question about on page 3, it states the city of Seldovia has a $25,000 grant awarded from the Alaska State Legislature. Would you guys refresh my memory on that?
Yeah, Heidi or Rachel. Rachel, if you've got some, I know you have a little bit of background on that.
So through the mayor, Councilmember Sweat, when Tim Dillon was city manager, he got a legislative appropriation for $25,000, but it was earmarked for silver smolt that was to be purchased from the Cook Inlet Aquaculture Association. So I've been in conversation with Representative Stutz's office to see if we need to make an amendment or go before the legislature to ask for, I don't know if you would call it a reappropriation, but just a different designated use of the grant funds. So that's in the works. And I don't have any other updates to share other than we're trying to see how we can use the funds and if it's okay to reallocate them to king or Chinook salmon versus silver salmon smolt.
Oh, so we had never spent that grant money?
Correct. We had, since it's been awarded, just not spent it. We filed reports with the state saying that we would use it for different projects like salmon habitat revegetation, but we haven't spent a single dollar out of the $25,000 yet.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't even realize we had that. I mean, okay, well, I'll save that another question for another time. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Rachel, just to follow up to that, is there, obviously, if it's been a number of years, is there a hard expiration on that grant?
That's a great question, Mayor. So we just filed for an extension because the grant expires this summer. I want to say it's June 2021. And so that's why I'll have more information to share with council once I have more direction from Representative Stutz's office. But yes, it lapses this summer.
Okay, cool, excellent. That's good news. Okay, anyone else
Mr. Mayor?
for discussion? Yeah, go ahead, Pearlie.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do we know what the cost entailed is to rear the smolt and get them over here? Has there been any bottom line on that?
Yeah, go ahead, Rachel. And I know if Rachel, if you want to defer to Vivian, because I know she's been in contact with a lot of the folks on this and is very on top of this issue, but go ahead.
Through the mayor, council member Morrison, no. I don't have anything specific that the state has provided, but that would be the follow-up email that we would send. And maybe council member Rojas could help us with that. We can send an email to the state with the resolution saying this was the action adopted by council, and we want to know how we can support you. What costs would you appreciate city contribution or community contribution to?
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yeah, Vivian, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say as far as the cost factor of the smolt, that's never been factored into Seldovia as a request. I think in the future, that is what Rachel was just speaking of, would be perfect. What the cost right now, Pearlie, if we were to put something forward that we could do immediately, it would be helping with the either the barge, getting the truck from Homer to Seldovia, which anywhere from $500 to $1,500 to $2,000, depending on how it comes. That's an area that that I've discussed through conversations with the regional supervisor. And but I think Rachel has a great idea about how to direct our efforts in the future. But so numbers of the cost of the smolt has never really been a consideration. I think that Fish and Game would be absolutely happy as could be if we actually put some money forward towards that. Right now, everybody else just gets the smolt. They don't have to pay for their smolt. But the additional cost of getting them over here, they're very pleased that we have a volunteer group that helped put the smolt in the lagoon. And if we could come up with funds, which I don't think would be a problem whatsoever, to help pay for the transportation, they would be as happy as could be, if that answers your question. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vivian.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead, Pearlie.
The smolt come over, I think the Helenka brings them over, but didn't I see him come on the ferry one year?
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yeah, you bet, Vivian.
Yeah, Pearlie, they generally come over, well, they have come over on the ferry, but the problem with them coming on the Tustamina is that the time frame that we're working with high tide is always an issue. But you're absolutely right. They've come on the Tustamina before if the tide was right. Otherwise, barge is a little bit better because that way we can pick the tide. And it's better for the smolt for getting them in the lagoon at a higher tide.
Right,
Thank
I
you.
just realized there's quite a cost difference between the barge or the ferry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pearlie. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, you bet. Go ahead, George.
well, back in the old days, they used to fly them over. Kachemak Air Service flew them over in the Otter. But anyway, on this grant for silvers, it expires in July or June this summer. I would monitor that fairly closely. And if we don't hear back, or if they tell us no, we can't trade those for trade that money for king salmon smolt, I think we should go ahead and spend it on silvers quick before it melts. I fear that if they slow roll us until after the expiration date of the grant, you'll never see it again.
Yeah, hopefully that's a good point. And hopefully with the extension that's filed, hopefully we'll hear something on that. Well, I mean, one way or another, either we get the extension and then while we're working through the process with the legislature to see about reappropriating those funds. So yeah, I think you're right, though. We do need to keep on top of it. And I think right now that 25 grand is pretty important. So I think there's no shortage of eyes keeping keeping tabs on that. So, all right, appreciate that, George. Any other comments?
Yeah, just one more, Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Yep, go ahead, Pearlie.
What brought this all on? They just decided to stop the smoke program, or what was the fire that got going to even be discussing this? They just do it every year and then all of a sudden we ain't gonna do it anymore? Is that what happened? Or?
Well, the hatchery committee, I believe, I'm going to let Vivian chime in, but I believe the hatchery committee, it's either every 3 or 5 years, I think it's 5 years, goes back and looks at this. And then this year there was a few factors and a few things that came up. But Vivian, go ahead and I'll let you chime right in on that.
Oh, well, I think, Mr. Mayor, Pearlie, the impetus is still under question as far as why this year. Before, there's been question about whether or not there's going to be enough smolt available. That's not in question whatsoever. Why this one-liner showed up in the proposal, the statewide proposal, is a mystery to most anybody who reads it. I think there's some miscommunication that Fish and Game is not informed about how well the run is going. They don't come over, the reporting they're not getting. So I think there's many factors. The opening up to more subsistence fishing got them in a little bit of a quandary over in Homer. So I think it was something that built up in somebody's desk, and why they assumed that Seldovia would let the smolt enhancement program go by the wayside, I'm not sure, Pearlie. So, but I think we're doing everything we can to reinforce with Fish and Game that we're very aware of the importance of this fishery to Seldovia. So I really can't answer your question, but you can write and call the biologists and ask them if they can answer your question for you. But I think a lot of it has to do with the lack of reporting and lack of information that Fish and Game has. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vivian. Yeah, and I'll just echo that. Yeah, I think there's no one definitive answer to that, Pearlie, like Vivian was saying. I certainly couldn't track it down in the reading that I did. So there was, some comments made, here and there about the subsistence, like she said, but I couldn't make heads or tails of that, of how that was going to definitively impact the stock fishery. So that I think remains to be seen. I think, however that came to be, I think they underestimated the importance of that fishery to Seldovia, to Seldovia citizens and our economy in general. So as it's shown by the outcry on Facebook, and then all of the additional information that's going around and letters being written, et cetera. So as is also evidenced by, tonight, us preparing this resolution and hopefully passing it. So, okay, any other comments? Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up if there's anyone from the public that would like to speak on this. No hands, Heidi?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll bring it back to council for final action and disposition. And before we have any motions, I'd just like to add that, I think the substitute language that is shown with all the underlines shows the willingness and commitment of Seldovia and its citizens to step forward and partner with the department to do whatever it's going to take to basically save our fishery. So I think you guys did a fantastic job. Vivian, I know you were very instrumental in working with the staff to get this done. I think it's an excellent resolution. If you read every single item on it, it clearly spells it out. And I think this will carry some weight going in front of the stocking committee when they make their decisions. So I appreciate all the efforts on this. So, all right, I'll go ahead and turn it back to you guys.
Yeah, I guess I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion that we adopt, or that we accept resolution from the City of Seldovia, Resolution 21-20 supplemental.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, We have a motion to accept resolution 21-20 in its supplemental form. We have a second. All those in favor, Morrison,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Resolution 21-20 in its substitute form is passed. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate everyone's support on that. And again, thank you, Vivian, for spearheading that and getting that thing moving. All right, item J2, resolution 21-21, an emergency resolution of the City Council of the City of Seldovia, Alaska, authorizing the expenditure of funds from the sewer major maintenance repair funds budget classification for the acquisition of 2 sewer lift station pumps for the beach lift station. Heidi or Rachel, I'll go ahead and let you guys take that away.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe that we first actually need to pass Resolution 21-22 because that resolution is going to provide funding that we're going to use for the purchase. Oh, sorry, never mind. That's for the boy. I apologize. Resolution 21-21. The lift stations are no new news for the city of Seldovia. They're old. They're about 40 years old, and staff in the previous administration had tried to secure grant funds from the Village Safe Water state organization. We were unsuccessful in those grant funds. So because this is such a critical piece of equipment for our sewer system, we're going to move forward with an emergency resolution, which just allows us to go ahead and buy the pumps as soon as tomorrow. And I've been told that the company that Alaska Rural Water Association staff member Kevin Schroeder or Schroner, for saying his name wrong, he said that the company has ordered them and they're on their way. So this just gives us the authority to go ahead and purchase them so that we can replace this critical piece of equipment for our sewer system.
Perfect. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up for council discussion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep, go ahead, Vivian.
Yes, I applaud the city office for getting this resolution 21-21 together. 40 years old, that's a long time going. This makes me feel good. Looks like we're moving forward. I'm in total support of it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vivian. Anyone else?
Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor,
I've got a comment.
Yep, go ahead, George.
is there any sort of warranty at all, or are they being rebuilt? Or are we just getting them as is? What's the condition? Is there anybody standing behind the condition of these pumps?
Through the mayor, the state works in coordination with Alaska Rural Water Association, and they, along with our public works staff, evaluate it, and they're definitely need a replacement. I think pumps, you're going to see them in need of replacement more often because they're the most heavily used part of the piece of equipment. So it's amazing that the lift station has been going strong for 40 years, and I don't know how old these pumps are in particular, but we were recommended to completely replace them.
So the state has looked at these and has some opinion as to their serviceability. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, so the Alaska Rural Water Association, which works in coordination with the state, had a staff member come and they evaluated the pumps and recommended replacement. And there's more detail. If you look, attached to one of the resolutions is our grant application that we applied for the replacement of the pumps to the state with, and it gives a very detailed account of how sad our sewer lift stations are and the grave need to replace our pumps.
Yeah, I wouldn't wouldn't question the requirement. And we still have the two old pumps. We still own them. They're on the shelf. Is that correct?
Through the mayor, I don't know, but I've been told that we don't have replacement pumps. So I'm assuming the one that got removed was just, we tossed it. I'm making a guess here. And then our other sewer lift station is only operating on one pump, and we don't have a replacement for it. And that needs two pumps as well.
Okay. Hi.
So basically, if I understand this right, so right now, the beach lift station, we're gonna take the two new pumps. If we pass this, obviously, we're gonna take these two new pumps, install them. We're gonna pull these 40-year-old pumps out, and then can we use one of those in the meantime? Just in the meantime as the secondary backup pump for the other lift station? But it sounds like we need 3 new pumps. I mean, is what it sounds like.
Mayor, I'm not sure. I would defer to the Alaska Rural Water Association's opinion that we need to replace them. And I'm not sure of the quality of the pump that we would be taking out, how old it is. And if apparently the other lift station, the SLU lift station, is operating fine on one pump right now. So I don't know if we should tamper with fate and put another pump down there from actually, no, we can't use this pump that we're going to take out from the beach lift station because they're completely different equipment. So you need more specialized equipment for the SLU
Different
lift station.
configuration on the pump head, probably. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that was the question. So, but I think to George's point, I think, yeah, the 2 pumps we're getting are going to be new, correct?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, they're going to be new, so they should come
Warranty.
with full warranty and everything. So yeah, that should be the case on that for sure. So yeah, I think, George, does that answer your question? I think that's what you were looking for.
Pretty much, yeah. And I assume we're going to take the pumps that we've renewed and put them on the shelf, get them rebuilt as we can, and then that'll be our backup. Is that, I hope, correct? Heidi has had her hand up over here.
Oh, I can't see. Sorry. Yep. She's blending your hand. Sorry, you're wearing black and it's blending in with the cabinet behind you, so I can't see your hand up. Go ahead, Heidi, if you want to share some information.
If I could, through the mayor, I just wanted to share quickly that we do have three pumps that we pulled. One that was two that were on the shelves, and one that was in the lift station previously that were sent to Anchorage to be rebuilt. The quote for that was enormous.
Yeah.
That's why we went ahead with looking at purchasing them, because it was about half the cost to be able to purchase new pumps versus rebuilding. But they are sitting in the valley with our representative from Alaska Rural Water Association. So they wanted to disassemble the pumps, and we went ahead and said no, and we took them back. So the city does still have 3 pumps that are not working in the valley, and then the one down here, and the hopes of purchasing 2 pumps is so that we can have them on a service schedule. We'll be able to drop one in, or 2 of the new ones. I'm not sure what they'll decide to start. Have one on the shelf that can be serviced, and then rotate as needed and service those pumps so that we are not in this situation again.
Yeah, perfect. Then who knows? Maybe we can make 1 out of 2 and have a spare without costing us an arm and leg, or possibly some other poor fool will need this kind of pump. We can stick it on him. Anyway, don't ever throw anything away.
Okay. Thanks, George. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up. Is there anyone from the public, Heidi?
I'm not seeing anyone at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll go ahead and bring Resolution 21-21 back to council for final action.
I'll make a motion to accept Resolution 21-21.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept Resolution 21-21 by Sweat. Council member Nathan, seconded. And all those in favor of accepting resolution 21-21, Morrison,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat.
Aye.
Okay, resolution 21-21 is passed unanimously, which will take us to item J3, resolution 21-22, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Soldovia, Alaska, transferring funds from the travel/per diem council major budget classification and from the general fund major maintenance repair funds budget classification into the equipment purchase and freight expense accounts in the Public Works major budget classification. That's a mouthful. Presentation by staff or council.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is transferring funds into the Public Works major budget classification because their budget was insufficient in covering the acquisition of a boiler for the multipurpose building. And so first we have to get funds available from council transferred into the respective accounts of Public Works so they can purchase the boiler.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up to council for discussion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep, go ahead, Vivian.
Yeah, I was trying to see, what is the cost of the boiler then? Is this just to cover extra costs that are not in the Public Works budget? Because we're not
Correct.
transferring that much.
So if you look, it's detailed in the next resolution. The total cost for purchasing the boiler plus the freight and contingency is $3,728.
Oh. Okay, thank
It
you.
looks like the transfer
Seems-
here is like $3,800 roughly. Is that correct?
Mayor, if I did the math right, they should both match.
Okay.
Huh. Are we buying a new boiler or are we,
Yes, that's what we'll be looking for is a new boiler from Ayers.
and so the total cost of this boiler is only $3,728, including freight?
That's just,
Wow.
it's just the boy. That doesn't include any labor to install it.
Right. Wow, okay, great. And that freight or that installation is going to be done in-house or are we bringing over airs?
I think the pool, oh, go ahead, Rachel.
Through the mayor, Councilmember Rojas, it's all in-house staff, and they may have to come before us again if they need additional assistance. But when I checked in with our Public Works crew, they were confident they could do it themselves.
Well, it's impressive to see the number, the cost, and this boiler in that building has been in need for a long time. So I am thoroughly in favor of this. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
I just have a comment.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just kind of amazed that that's all it's gonna cost. That's for, is that for a new boiler?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Sweat, yes, it's for a new boiler. And it's to our benefit that that's the dollar amount. Public Works staff got 3 quotes and that was the lowest quote. And that building actually needs 2 boilers to run. So we're just purchasing this boiler in the meantime, and then we're gonna need to come before council again for additional funds to purchase the second boiler.
We'll get another? God. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that second one will be a lot more expensive because there's going to be additional pumps, zone valves, all that stuff to get tied in there. Because we only have one boiler in that building now. Is that correct? It's
Yes,
a single
that's
boiler
correct.
system. Yeah. So when you add the second one, that's where it's going to get a little bit more expensive There's gonna be a lot more labor. So yeah, just a swap out on the boiler itself, because we're not buying new pumps. We're not buying a bunch of stuff to go with it. It's take the old boiler out, put the new one in. Labor should be fairly minimal, and it should be pretty easy. So this seems in line with what I would expect. Any other questions? Okay, anyone from the public have any questions, comments on resolution 21-22?
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, Pearlie, go ahead. Did you have another comment?
Yeah, I guess I was muted. My light's on, but anyway. Have we looked into rebuilding this boiler for our second one? Have we looked into rebuilding the boiler? The one we're taking out, have we looked into rebuilding that? I know I've worked in remote locations where we would brush them out, clean them, put new packing in them, and they're basically just a oil-fired tank. I don't. Is it cracked or parts wore out, or what's the situation with it?
Yeah, Rachel, do you have any additional info on that? I'm not sure how old that boiler is.
So through the mayor, Councilmember Morrison, the boiler is suspected of corroding. There were 2 boilers in the building. The summer of 2020, one of the boilers failed due to corrosion. This boiler is the same age and model as the one that failed, so staff are pretty confident that it's on its way out for the same issue of corrosion. And Jordan is looking into an additional piece of equipment that we may have to buy to help the city address the corrosion issue in the building.
Okay, thank you. As far as more expense, was there 2 boilers in that room at one point? And we're going to put another boiler in that same room. So all the piping should be there. You just have to, I know Lakeside has 2 boilers, and they're run that whole building. I'm just wondering why there would be so much more expense to more piping, or it seems like it's already plumbed.
Well,
building here.
I think she just answered my question here. So Rachel, so you just commented that there was actually 2 boilers in that system at one point. And right now it's just the one boiler, it's still there. It's just shut down or shut off because it's not working. And then the second one that still is working is the one we're looking at getting replaced. Is that, or are we going to leave the one that is obviously probably here? The one that's working, we're going to leave. The one that is dead, we're going to take out and put this new one in.
Mayor, I'm not sure what the battle plan is for the boiler battle plan.
That's probably the plan, I would assume.
Yeah, I don't think the first boiler that failed is reusable. I don't know what staff did with it, but it sounded pretty dire. And then if you look at the photos in the manager's report, you know, it just looks like an old, sad piece of equipment. And I'm not sure if we can use this one and the new boiler that we're going to get at the same time, or if we're going to have to quickly work to get a second one replaced. I'm not exactly sure, but I was told that we do need to replace it soon, because if the boiler fails, especially during the winter, that could be very costly and high maintenance for the city, for that building.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Yep, go ahead, Pearlie.
Wouldn't it behoove us to just go ahead and bite the bullet and buy both boilers now? Could we get some kind of rake off through heirs that if we buy 2 of them, we'll get some kind of discount? It seemed like if they're hooking one new one up, they might as well hook another new one up. We know it's going to fail. So just a question, if we can afford it.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Councilmember Morrison. It was, I think because staff recommended one, and because we have so many priorities for such a tight budget, I could explore that with staff. And if that's the case, we could come before council again for the purchase of a second one. But I was under the impression that we needed to get started on this one ASAP. And maybe City Clerk Gagel has an additional comment on that with the boiler, since this was happening before I joined the.
I do not.
Yeah, I would just comment kind of based on what Pearlie said too. It looks like when you look at the photos, and they're both just standard Will McLean boilers, it looks like that if we get the new one, it's going to come with a certain amount of those parts. I'm sure it's going to have a burner. It's going to have a multitude. It's going to have some of the basic stuff that they usually come with. So we would have that when we're pulling out for a number of parts. And as long as that jacket is still good on the one that's running, then we're probably going to be okay for a little while. But I would agree that I think at some point we need to explore getting a brand new second one, or taking a look to see if the one we pull out is still actually if the jacket's good enough and not corroded, if we can have it rebuilt and gone through, if that makes sense. So it may be the same problem as the pumps. It may be more labor intensive to have this thing rebuilt than it is just to buy a brand new one off the shelf. So
Yeah, what I was thinking was the price of the boiler. I don't know if we're ever going to get them any cheaper. It seems like a pretty good price.
yeah, I would agree. Okay, any other comments from council? Okay, we'll go back to public, and anyone from the public with their hand raised, Heidi?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll bring it back to council for final action on resolution 21-22.
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution 21-22.
Second,
Okay, we do have a motion by Vivian to accept resolution 21-2, second by Sweat. All those in favor, Morrison,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat.
aye.
Okay, resolution 21-22 passes unanimously. That'll bring us to item J4, resolution 21-23, an emergency resolution of the City Council of the City of Soldovia, Alaska, authorizing the expenditure of funds from the Public Works Major Budget Classification for the acquisition of a boiler for the multi-purpose building. And Rachel, I'll let you take that one.
Thank you, Mayor. So as mentioned, the resolution you just passed, 21-22, that was just transferring funds so that the Public Works budget has enough money to purchase the boiler. So this resolution is authorizing the purchase of the boiler itself.
Okay, thank you. Open it up for council discussion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep, go ahead, Pearlie.
should that wording be changed to possibly 2 boilers?
No, because we're under this specific resolution, we don't have the money to do 2. We've already allocated the money just for 1, so we would only be able to actually authorize the expenditure of 1 for right now. So we'll have to basically do this whole process again whenever that comes around for the next boiler. Anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead. Any comments from the public on resolution 21-23?
I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll bring resolution 21-23 back to council for final action.
I make a motion to accept resolution 21-23.
Second.
Okay, we do have a motion to accept resolution 21-23 by Sweat, second by Rojas. All those in favor, Morrison,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat.
Aye.
Resolution 21-23 is passed unanimously. That will bring us to item K, unfinished business, none. Item L, new business, none. Item M, administration reports. Treasurer's report, none. City manager's report, C packet. That'll be item M2. And Rachel, if you want to just give us a quick overview, and then we can open it up for questions.
Thank you, Mayor. So the manager's report starts on page 24. In addition to what's detailed in the manager's report, I just wanted to share a few additional items with council. I first wanted to recognize the major contributions that KPED has done for the Kenai Peninsula in terms of securing small business relief funds for addressing the coronavirus. There was an article in the Peninsula Clarion, and we as the city just posted something on Facebook to drum up support and recognition of the really commendable efforts of KPED. And I highly encourage you all to read the article. It said something to the effect of, and let me see if I can find that email really quick. It was something to the effect of the Kenai Peninsula makes up a very small percentage of the population, yet we secured a really high percentage of the CARES Act dollars. And that's because we had the executive director, Tim Dillon, and I'm sure our former city manager, Cassidy Cameron, bird dogging the state for help and assistance and helping our businesses secure more funds. And I know they're also very helpful to businesses in Soldovia. So I just wanted to make sure council was aware of that article. And then our city clerk followed up with the governor's office with Soldovia City Council's invitation to discuss the Alaska Marine Highway System. We haven't heard a response yet. And so we invited the governor or a representative from his office to attend either this meeting or our following January council meeting. So if we get a response from the governor's office, we'll let you know. And I do know that Homer City Council is considering your letter at tonight's meeting. So I expect some follow-up from Homer in the next few days. And then in terms of the minutes, I've been working with the city clerk to review how we can make our minutes be more aligned with the Kenai Peninsula Borough, but still provide a little bit more information, because Soldovia City Council minutes are very, very detailed versus the borough just kind of gives very brief sentences that summarize who did what. And so we're trying to come up with a happy medium so that way we accomplish the goal of the minutes, which is to reference the meeting. And of course, even provide timestamps if someone wants to go back and listen to the Zoom meeting for exactly what was discussed, but then also save staff time so that they're not as verbatim. So in your packet for January 25th, you'll have a sample of both minutes, the minutes that the city clerk is usually drafted for council, and one that I hope you'll find as an improvement that balances staff time with recounting the council meeting. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. Did anyone want have any questions or comments regarding any of the items on the city manager's report?
I have a comment.
Yep, go ahead.
Maybe all our talking to HEA finally paid off. I don't know if Aaron had something to do with it or what, but I sure like the summaries we're getting of what's been happening with the power when it goes out. The last couple of times they did go out, we had an extensive summary of that. And I think the whole community appreciated that. And I also like the idea of Aaron coming, I forget where that was that I read that. Oh yeah, that Aaron was willing to attend the second council meeting of every month. I think that would be great, just to get it established with her on a regular basis. And if Mr. Shelley wants to come too, that's great, but I think having Aaron for sure is a really good thing. So thanks, that's all I got.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead, Vivian.
Yes, directed to the city manager. Could you elaborate on your paragraph, the city's contract with former city manager Cameron? Could you go into a little bit more length about what this is proposing or possible proposing?
Through the mayor, yes, Councilmember Rojas, the city of Soldovia adopted Resolution 21-08. It had specific hours and compensation allocated for the former city manager assisting the city with the transition. And after being here for a little bit and hearing from staff how beneficial that is, we have not used the amount allotted or reached the maximum allowed billable hours with the former city manager, and she's willing to continue helping the city. And so I thought extending that through May, because we're still operating within the same fiscal year, would be a good idea, just because our finance officer, while very talented, is still getting up to speed on how to do the audit, how to produce the budget. And especially with the new city manager asking her all sorts of questions, it'd be great if she could get in touch with Cassidy and we could compensate Cassidy for her expertise with the city of Soldovia. So it doesn't change anything other than extends the time that Cassidy can help the city.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Anyone else?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, if I may ask a question or a comment, if I may, to the city manager.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Vivian.
thank you. I'm not sure how much money we have left in the CARES Act. I know we have it till December of the end of 2021, but I know I listened to a news report about Anchorage, how they were using some of their funds, and they were actually hiring people to cut down, I think it was beetle kill in their parks around their trails and whatnot. And I thought, oh, I didn't know they could actually use those funds. But I walk around town and I see last year we had Amanda Miller, who did a terrific job clearing up areas. But I walk around town and I see where there's alder branches kind of growing out into Main Street. And I'm thinking, is that possible actually to hire somebody? I don't know how much funds we have, but it would be a way to take care of a few nuisance things that need attention. Where alders are growing where they really shouldn't be growing, and trees where they really should be growing, where they're impeding either in traffic or visibility. Is that something that is available in the CARES Act funds, Rachel?
So I believe through the mayor that the use of CARES Act funds from the state, as long as we signed a grant agreement with the state in order to access the coronavirus relief funds. So as long as the terms of the grant agreement are being met, and that's identified as a way for the city to respond to and mitigate the impacts of the pandemic, that would be an acceptable use. And as of Friday last week, we have just for up until December spent $238,000, roughly $239,000 of the state CARES Act grant, and the state gave us $255,000. And there's additional needs that I think we're billing in January. So we don't have too much of a budget to work with, but I can look into that to see how feasible something like that for Soldovia would be.
Okay, you kind of cut out, but it sounded like you said we've just about used up the money. It needs to be looked at closer this month. How close we are.
We still have to take into account expenses for January, but I can look into and see how feasible something like that would be for the city of Soldovia.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yep.
Yeah, Vivian, as a follow-up to that too, I know that the Alaska State Parks had, and they had a bunch of volunteers too. They spent a bunch of money up on the hillside. There was a big story about that with all their trail improvements and stuff like that they did. I mean, they were helicoptering loads of material in for that, and they specifically stated that was through CARES money. So, yeah, I would agree with you. If there's a few bucks left, I know I'm in total favor of cleaning up all of the nuisance brush around town. So, all right. Any other comments from anyone?
Mr. Mayor.
Yep. Go ahead, George. I see your hand up there.
Yeah, a couple of meetings ago, I asked if it would be possible to knock down some of the brush at some of these blind corners, and I believe our folks did cut down some of the alder growth on that hard bend to the right that goes past the old native store there. But there are lots of other corners and intersections in town that are really blind that could be cleaned up if we're going to do something like this. I don't know if we can get them to authorize us to use the funds in that way, but that's I think a good suggestion to a way to use it if they'll release the funds like that.
Okay, thank you, George. Yeah, I just had one comment here on the same thing. Rachel, I assume on the use of Cassidy's time, I mean, you guys have probably talked a number of times since you've come in. I'm assuming there's some value to both you and the finance officer on keeping her or extending that contract with her for another 4 or 5 months.
Definitely. I've met with Cassidy once officially since being with the city because we're both so busy. But informally, she's helped me a few times, and I do hope to meet with her very soon to ask some organizational history questions. And she's definitely my go-to for other help. So yes, it would be a benefit to me as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yep. And then the second comment I had was on the, in your report there, I see you put, there's a mention of mayoral transitions, and I just wanted to let other council members know if there's anything else. Dean served a number of terms as our mayor, and I'd like to formally recognize him for his service to the city. So I was going to work with the staff on coming up with something nice to do for him and honoring his service for the years that he's put in as mayor for our community. So if you guys have any ideas or anything offline, you guys can shoot me an email or text or whatever as well. So I'd really appreciate that. So, all right, if nothing else on the city manager's report, thank you, Rachel. I again, very, very detailed, lots of information, photos, and yeah, lots of details. So we certainly, if we don't get it and through the additional questions, then we're not going to get it. So this is about as detailed as it gets. So I appreciate that. And for you, are you, I take it you're settling in well?
Thank you, Mayor, for asking. Yes, Seldovia has been very welcoming to both myself and my partner. I'm very happy we made that choice to move here and serve the city and work with council. So thank you for asking.
Good. No, that's good to hear. I appreciate it. So I know you jumped in fast, and there's a lot of stuff coming your way here, and it's probably just going to get busier here between now and springtime with a lot of projects and a lot of planning, and then all the fun will begin here when all the summer folks show up. Hopefully this year, if we can get past the majority of COVID here. So things will hopefully we'll turn the corner here and looking a little brighter for this next summer. So, okay, let's see.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I have one question for Rachel real quick. Can I ask that now?
Yep.
Okay, Rachel, I was just curious about the mapping that we had discussed of the water and sewer. What is the status of that?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Sweat, we contacted the RCAC over the holidays. They took a little bit of time to get back to us. They finally sent us what they think will be the services they can provide the city. I have yet to put those into a formal agreement, but that's on my list to do. And I was hoping to bring that before council at your next January meeting.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that one back up as well. Let's see. Okay, if we have no other questions, looks like no chief of police report tonight, no harbor master report, and no public works report. Item N, informational items not requiring action. City offices will be closed Monday, January 18th in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. No executive session tonight. Item P, council and mayor comments concerning items not on the agenda. Morrison. We're kind of losing Pearlie there. I'm not sure. He was coming in loud and clear earlier.
Can't hear a thing he's saying.
You want to try that one more time, Pearlie? Sorry.
Yeah, just saying,
we
thanks to
go.
Vivian. Thanks for, staff and great job, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Pearlie. Appreciate that. Rojas.
Yeah, thank you everyone for all of our good work that we're doing together. It's definitely a team effort. I appreciate that. Also, I think just for the knowledge for the city council that there was a proclamation that was given out in 2016 to Fish and Game. And I think Heidi actually found that, and I think we're going to include that within our resolution. I believe Heidi found it. But you know what? I am totally impressed with our new city manager. And as always, our staff is dynamite. I really appreciate all the hard work. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vivian. Nathan.
Yeah, Vivian, I think you're doing a great job with the smolt thing. I've had a lot of input from constituents about that. Everybody's pretty well stirred up about it, and I think it's a really important thing. Also, I guess everybody knows that John Kennedy over at Jack and Ava's restaurant put out an absolutely free Christmas dinner for anybody that wanted to come there. It was prime rib and ham and turkey and everything you can think of. It was wonderful. There were a pretty good bunch of people there. I wonder if we might be able to write him a little letter and thank him for his efforts. And one last thing, I'd like to ask our new chief of police the same line of question that our city manager got. How are you liking Seldovia?
So far, been very welcoming, and we're actually starting to get everything unpacked. So it's been nice doing that way. And we're hoping that get more involved even more now in the community that we've got everything over. So we're really enjoying it, and it's coming along good. So I appreciate all the support and everyone saying hi, and especially from city council and the mayor and staff. It's been great.
I do appreciate seeing your dog in your back of your car as you drive by. That's definitely Seldovian.
Totally Soldovian. Thanks, Clayton, for that update. Appreciate that. That's we're glad to have both of you guys. So let's see, Sweat.
Yeah, thanks to the staff and good job on everything. Good job with the city manager so far already. And Vivian, you did a good job with the smoke thing. I totally say thank you for that. So
You're most welcome.
that's all I have.
Yeah, I just had one comment. Same thing. Thanks everyone for working through these issues. Obviously, big kudos out to Vivian for her efforts on the smolt, and Heidi, thank you for keeping on with the. This is an amazing difference tonight with the audio. With the folks that are in council, I can hear you guys crystal clear from all of us out here in Zoom land. So that's a huge difference in terms of the quality of the meeting. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys getting that done. So, all right, our next regular meeting will be on Monday, January 25th at 6 p.m. And I'll need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any objection? None
Woohoo, a
heard.
fast meeting.
None heard. We are adjourned at 1 hour and 7 minutes. That makes up for the
Oh,
3.5
wow.
hour marathon last time.